Welcome to the Nagual zone. I'm Anaam. Pull-ups versus pull-downs. Pull-ups versus pulling down. What do I mean by that? You see, in any interaction, anything, any interaction, including animals, we do one of two things. And most times, we oscillate between one or two. Most people in the average man's world squarely inhabit one of these. And after this video, you will start noticing this in yourself and others. We either pull up or we pull down. In the average man's world, everyone is constantly pulling down. Pulling down. What does that mean? That means that when you or I interact with someone and we belong to the average man's world, we are constantly pulling the other person or people down to our level. We're constantly pulling people down to our level. Always. Notice this. You may be interacting with someone who is amazing. Everyone has something amazing in them, right? Really, like seriously amazing stuff. We don't see it in ourselves because we live with ourselves and we're always painfully aware of our narratives, our pain, and our weaknesses. And we are not taught to celebrate what we are amazing at. Yeah? Education takes care of that. We are taught to distract ourselves with sine theta, cos theta, x square plus y squares equals z square. Complete and utter nonsense. All the while, you could have been learning to celebrate your amazingness and strengthen your weakness, right? So we have the average man's consensus reality where everyone pulls everyone else down to their level. Self-importance requires that we cannot tolerate someone being ahead of us, being above us in some way or the other. Self-importance cannot handle that. It just won't do it, won't allow us. So the only recourse left to someone like that is to pull that person down to their level. Subconsciously think of themselves as they're like me. But if I met Usain Bolt today, or I met Muhammad Ali today, or some gold medal champion, or someone, or you know what I mean? I met them today, there is no way that they are anything remotely like me. Now, the only time the average man doesn't indulge in this habit is when it is marketed to them. So if I market myself to you as a millionaire, a celebrity, a famous person of some kind, an influencer, nowadays you have influencers, suddenly you will behave very differently around me. It happens to the best of us. You will start behaving very differently around me. You won't pull me down to your level anymore because I've been marketed to you in a way that your self-importance cannot get triggered. I am clearly better than you. That's how it works. No need to sugarcoat this. That's the inner mechanism. Someone who is marketed as clearly better than you, that guru or that actor, famous actor, that, this, that, whatever the marketing is, however that person has been Disneyfied in front of you, a Disney fairy tale, you will relate to that fairy tale, and there's no way for you to pull that fairy tale down to yourself because manifestly and clearly that person's life is very different from yours. Right? The Toltec warrior, on the other hand, steps away from this game and flips it around. What we do is any interaction, it does not depend on marketing. It could be with a worthless, so-called worthless beggar on the street, or someone we really think is just what is this? Whatever it is, we use that opportunity to pull ourselves up to whatever amazingness is there that we are aware of. Do you understand the mechanism? Now, that pulling down thing we do with animals, what do you think giving names to dogs and cats, what do you think it's all about? Have you seen how dog owners, watch my previous video called The Fictional Real and The Really Real. Dog owners, cat owners. Have you ever seen how dog owners talk to their pet? That cat may be end of the line, maybe like an old person if they were human, very old, frail, like really old person, but they talk to them as if they're like, oh, goo, 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 poochoo, poochoo, oh, oh. What the hell? Pulling that animal down to your level. Disneyfying nature. Because you grew up seeing what? Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, cartoons. And you know what cartoons do every 2 seconds? Repeatedly, all the time. Do you know what they do? They're either crashing violently into something or they're beating each other up. Have you noticed that? There's not a single Disney cartoon or any cartoon anywhere whatsoever where, especially the old school cartoons, maybe nowadays they have actual stories in them, where it was full of violence. The violence at a level which would kill normal humans. Yeah, worth thinking about. So we pull animals down to our level too. Now we have been reduced, the average man has been reduced to a commodity, a slave. Very soon chips will afford you a barcode in your body. Max 2 years, 3 years, depends on the sheeple of the world, because it's the sheeple that bring about Armageddon every single time. It's not the predator, it's the sheeple. So it really depends on the sheeple how soon humanity gets chipped, and then beyond as the agenda unfolds, right? We bring things and people down to our level. The Toltec warrior does the opposite, looks for opportunities to pull themselves up to the next level using interactions. You know why? Because the Toltec is fully aware of what an amazing human being they are. They've owned their amazingness. Not just as a fantasy, as a Disney fantasy running in the head, but through painstaking evidence in life. That's why Toltec training takes decades. It can take decades, right? Because all that time you're proving your victories to yourself. So many victories happen on the Toltec path. Oh my God, the path becomes like one blessing after the other, one victory after the other, one overcoming after the other, one challenge and the next, because you're gaining proficiency at living. You're living efficiently, you're living wisely, you're living with power, you're living with authority, you're living with high quality energy at all times. 90, not even 95, let's say 99.9% of the time. 1% or some we reserve for life to do what it wants to do, right? We seek to pull ourselves up. We understand our amazingness. It is very easy then to see the true infinity, the true potential, the true powerfulness, the true beingness of the other person. There's no way you can see the other person as an infinite and powerful being if you're not used to seeing yourself like that. There's no way to do it. So the Toltec warrior is very used to their true identity. This is not a Disneyfied mental game. You must lose your human form And that opens up a whole different perception of yourself, right? Now the Toltec warrior can bring that to the table. Anyone the Toltec warrior encounters is a fellow infinity, immensely powerful. Then the cage is there, then the limitations are there, then the bullshit is there, then the lying is there, and all the rest of it. But the Toltec warrior does not lose sight, cannot, because they are intimately aware of it in themselves. They cannot lose sight of the fact that they are interacting with a powerful infinite being who will not exist for long in this mortal coil, right? What is the only advantageous thing left to do in that case? Look for opportunities to pull yourself up. If they've got something that you can use to learn, if they've got something that you can self-correct using them, what you're observing, maybe there's something inspirational about them. Maybe there's something, you pull yourself up to their level. You don't pull them down to your level. Do you see what I'm saying? I see this all the time. Don Juan told Castaneda one time, I am nothing like you. But your self-importance must make you behave as if I am like you. Right? From here on out, seek to use your interactions, especially with your near and dear, mother, father, spouse, children. Look for opportunities. First of all, you got to learn. It comes down to losing your human form. You got to learn to see them as infinite and powerful beings that you have the good fortune to interact with. Taken for granted never worked as an advantage for anyone. Got to see that. You've got to see that. You've got to see yourself and the other person with fresh eyes. That's a whole skill in itself. And you must be totally present in the moment. And from that base of relationship, you relate. And see, where can I grow here? How can I pull myself up? How can I use this person as a rung to climb up the ladder of my own betterness? Don't waste time in self-important nonsense. Don't waste time in reacting to something. Don't waste your precious energy. If you only knew how precious energy is. Don't waste it on cursing them and blah, 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 and they are like this and she's like that. Oh, she did this to me, he did this to me. It's her fault and she said and he said. Just nonsense. Simply to entertain your bored spirit. Stop all that. Instead, learn to see the other person as an opportunity to pull yourself up the ladder of your own evolution, your own betterness. Learn how to adapt to that person to your advantage. Never let a interaction go to waste by just engaging in nonsense and using them as a way to be petulant and entitled and indulgent, bloated in your spirit, taking everything for granted, feeling entitled. Everyone is entitled to please me. That's why everything exists, is to please me. Because you know what? The sun rises because I wake up. How about stopping that behavior at the deepest level and really seeing with the eyes of the Toltec warrior? Now, do you understand how a Toltec warrior can effortlessly bring high quality energy to any exchange? How would you feel if you were interacting with someone who sees you at the very base level, subconsciously and all the time, as an infinite and powerful being? Your spirit would open to them. Maybe you hate their guts, but your spirit would open to them in a very different way than someone who is a fellow indulger, entitled just like you, seeing you as someone to pull down to their level. You're seeing them as someone to pull down to your level, and you have this toxic game going on. Pull-ups versus pulling down. Think about this deeply. Really, take time. Think about this. Learn to be very present. It will add so much power to you. And learn to see, especially animals, nature. They're not beholden to you. They're not entitled to you in any way. They don't owe you anything. Nature doesn't owe you anything. It would behoove you to go to nature on your knees and say, teach me, what can I learn here? Maybe I can learn how to be just as present as these trees, right? Learn to approach others with a measure of humility, a measure of diminishment. Diminish yourself. Nothing will happen. You won't die. The sky won't fall on your head. Nothing will happen. Diminish yourself so that you can learn. In Zen, it's called empty your cup so that you can taste the other person's tea. There was a powerful warrior of the land in Japan, and he had heard of this Zen master who lived on a hill. The warrior took a long journey to reach this master, knocked on the door. Master says, come on in. Warrior says, I'm a big shot warrior of the land. I have achieved much. These are all my deeds, and I've come to learn from you. Master said, okay, have some tea with me. Warrior said, yep, sounds like a great idea, thank you. The master serves the tea, and the warrior sees that the master is pouring the tea in his cup to give to the warrior, and he keeps pouring and he keeps pouring and he keeps pouring and he keeps pouring. The cup is full now, keeps pouring, the cup is overflowing now, no more tea is going in, the cup is totally full and everything is spilling out, creating a puddle on the floor. The warrior says, stop, what are you doing? The tea is all overflowing, the cup is full. The master set the teacup down. He said, yes, your teacup is full. How can you taste my tea? Stop pulling others down to your level. I've deliberately not given you any real life examples of this because I would like you to go out from this video and notice this in your life this week. How do you tend to pull others down to your level? You think they're like you. How about flipping that around and looking for the amazingness in them, and then see how you can pull yourself up to that level of amazingness in what their strength is? Don't you think that's a better idea? Don't you think that's a bit more strategic? Right? Empty your cup, learn to taste the other person's tea. It's not easy. Nothing in the toltec path is easy. And you have to really curb your impulses. Really learn that. You have to learn to grow up. And then move forth with power in the world. And experience all the blessings that life has to offer you. Don't cut yourself off with the wrong moves in your life. Learn to make the correct moves. This is one of the powerful moves in life that you can make. With that, I'd love to hear what you think of the content of this video. What are your thoughts? How do you do this? How do you pull others down to your level? Give me some real life examples so we know that you are able to see the concept, the principle, and then see the correlation in your real life. Don't be afraid to share. It's fine. Share your struggles in this. Give us some real life examples we can all benefit from. Share your thoughts with me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Walk in freedom. See you in the next one.